Right now, we've been talking to all kind of people all over the city of San Francisco, talking to them about the budget cuts, talking to them about what they would want to tell the president and the Congress if they were standing in front of them about the type of economic decisions that they're doing. What's your name, my man?
Keith.
Keith, man, what do you think about the budget cuts and what's going on, and what do you want to tell, Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and all those people making decisions that's going to impact you and your community?
I think, like, as he said, why you taking money from the poor? I mean, like, why they fighting wars that ain't theirs? They should be using that money to help us out here.
What's your name?
My name is Mark.
Mark, what do you want to say about these budget cuts? Nancy Pelosi, this is her district. Barack Obama got a lot of people in this neighborhood voted for him. I see Barack Obama stickers on these cars. Yet and still, some of the proposed budget cuts, they're going to start impacting people in this neighborhood, health services and after-school programs, all kind of stuff. What do you want to say about that?
Man, I think that all that budget stuff is like, all that budget cut stuff is whack. Like, how you gonna like build more like prisons and stuff and like take away from us instead of like, why don't you just like build schools and stuff? Like focus on like all that like better stuff instead of that negative stuff. Like, how you gonna spend all your money on like war and like building prisons and stuff? Like, come help people that like need help, like people over here, like in this community.
One of the things that we've been talking about is the budget cuts, and one of the things that they want to do is cut after school programs and close down some of the schools in neighborhoods like yours. How do you feel about that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing because, like, if they like fire teachers, then the kids, they won't learn that much, and if they don't have a lot of after-school programs, kids won't have places to go and do their homework except for home.
And it would be boring for the kids.
It would be boring?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that's going on, all the violence that's happening in our community is stemmed from economics. They're not putting no money in our community. They're taking all that money and taking it to war and spending all that money. And there's nothing for us out here. It's like, you can't give kids jobs. They can't get no money. So they resort to violence. They resort to robbing. They resort to stealing. And that's what's happening here. You're taking away from a community. You're not taking care of your own. You going out there spending money in Libya, going somewhere else, spending money rather than just taking care of your backyard, because we need it out here.
What do you say? We're here. We've been seeing like a lot of the youngsters. What do you say to keep them inspired? And what sort of practical advice can you give people who are just really coming into this harsh reality for the first time?
I let them know that the greatest tool and weapon you're going to ever have is your brain, your mind. They the future, so I just have to remind them how great they are. And anybody that come into an economical downfall right now, I just let them know without a struggle, it ain't no progress. To get to it, you got to go through it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the business right there. Keeping faith in God, and what you want won't be far from you.
You got General Electric. They didn't even pay no taxes, making billions. You got all these banks don't want to give no loans, but giving out bonuses. You see what I'm saying? The company that was responsible for the BP oil spill, the Transamerica, I believe it is, or Transocean, that's the company that owned the rig. They're giving out bonuses for safety records, yet you got hardworking people like yourself. Where's your bonus? How come they not giving you those type of breaks?
Well, what they're looking for is poverty pimps. They want somebody that's going to take advantage of the people and look for a check, not look for a change. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm a United Player. We stand for a cause, and that's change. We ain't looking for no change. We going to make a change. Believe that there.
There you have it. That's real talk from the hood.
Kids, man, to start have your kid come here, man. We got programs for free. You see, they organizing right now. Look at these organizers, man. Those are 2 ex-criminals right there. Okay. They organize. The best organizers are gang members. Ex-gang members.
We're good. All right, cameras rolling.
Right now, Davey D, we're hanging out here in the city of San Francisco still, going around from neighborhood to neighborhood, talking to people who are on the front line, trying to find out how they are dealing with the proposed budget cuts coming from the president, the Congress, the Senate. One of the people that's been really dealing with this front and center, long before they were even talking about budget cuts, is Rudy Corpus from United Playaz. In the background, you got a whole bunch of kids that he personally brings up here to this center that he started, along with a lot of folks who are also on the front line trying to make a way out of no way. My question to you, Rudy, you know, first of all, with the budget cuts that are coming down, both from the state side and now on the federal side, how does this impact you, or is this business as usual?
It's business as usual. You know, I think I learned this a long time in the game, that, you know, the politics is going to play their game and they're going to do what they're going to do. You know, the rich get richer and the poor get poor. You know, so we try to stay 2 steps ahead of the game and continue, man, to generate our own revenue on our own way, you know, legally. Right. And not have to depend on anybody from the state on a federal level, because they've been socking to us with a black eye, man, for the longest anyway.
You know, what are some of the things that they do put at, how do they put you at a disadvantage? What are some of the things that they take away from you that you have to make up on the back end?
Straight, you know, money off top. You know, we have, if you see, man, how things are going, man, in the inner cities and even the suburbs, you know, there's a lot of violence going out there. And they talk about stop the violence, but they continue to cut programs for kids and seniors. So that's what they tell you about our country. You know, but at the same time, they want to spend $70 billion on a war that's on the other side of the country, and we got a war right here in our backyards. You know what I mean? So that just tells you they do not want to help out what's going on here. And their only answer to that is incarceration, building more prisons.
How do you all stay ahead of the game? What sort of things would you tell people to think about? I think most poor people, and when I say most poor people, but people like yourself who've been dealing with this for a long time, you figured it out. But now there's a whole new class of people who are newly poor, don't know what's going on. They're freaking out, trying to figure it out.
Right. I think what's important, man, is educating people, you know, not believe half what you hear and half what you see on television, you know, and just continue, man, with the little that we have to share. And to educate, you know, the young people who's coming up. You see what happened, man, in other countries. You know, these youngsters, man, they rebelled. They stood up after 30 years, and they fought because they figured it out. You dig what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the type of move we need to start educating these young, hungry hyenas who's out there, who's actually, but they're very knowledgeable, but they're just misguided. And it's telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, one of the things that I admire about, you know, you and your organization is, man, it's always been about family. And I don't think we talk about that a lot. You know, maybe you could talk about, you know, explain to us how we see the government when they react to the concept of community coming together, and how you all manage to keep the community together. I'm sitting up here watching, you know, you got ex-gang members organizing, you got youngsters out here leading their own circles. You know, you got the whole neighborhood here under your roof, you know, under this roof, a collective roof for the neighborhood. And that's something that you would think would be celebrated, but they don't talk about it as much.
Well, you know, I think, you know, I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am, and it's nothing new. And what I mean by that, man, this has been happening, man, for hundreds and hundreds of years of our tribes. You know, just the way we look after each other and take care of each other. I think it's important we continue to have that culture and we have that history with us. And it doesn't matter, you know, what nationality, because it's all in our DNA. Right. And it's important, man, for us to continue to give it down to the younger people. Because everybody here that you see, man, we a tribe. You know, it takes us to save us. That's why I say on the shirts, it takes the hood to save the hood. And all that means it takes the people to save the people. Right. You know, and I think it's important, man, you know, we keep those values and we continue to keep it going, because the government, and I'm not mad at them, they're going to do what they're going to do. That's what they're supposed to do. You know, I mean, in my eyes, they were supposed to help, but you see what happened, man, in Katrina. And man, you see what's happening all over the world. They ain't helping nobody. Right. They give you some crumbs. And then you see the organization that's, you know, 501c3 or CBOs, they get a little change and everybody fights over it. And what's the number one tactic, man, to war? It's conquer and divide. That's what they do. You dig what I'm saying? And we know that. So, you know, we must organize and be smart about how we strategically plan to move on that, you know, to take care of ourselves. Right. You know, but at the same time, still hold them accountable for what they do.